Many who were fortunate enough to retain their job have been unable to retain their salary. Stores are closing. Many small businesses will be simply unable to recover. Most industries suffered major setbacks, which ultimately crushed their bottom line. The stock market has ignored this key information, but it doesn't really matter because the Fed is here to tuck you in at night and sing you a lullaby. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today we're going to look at what's happening with the economy. I want to talk about various issues today, but want to begin with salary cuts. I think it is really important to understand that what we are facing today affects many people, even the ones who have remained employed. Out of Bloomberg, salaries get chopped for many Americans who manage to keep their jobs. Pay cuts, typically rare in a crisis, may delay U.S. recovery. So we've got a lot of people right now that are unemployed on a global scale, unlike we have ever seen before. This is supposedly just temporary. Okay, fine. Well, we get a bunch of people back working here in the next few months, and we see as the economy opens back up, it's going to be more robust. That's what they say anyway. But what about all of these individuals who have been here during this process, not making ends meet throughout the period before 2020, and now they have a salary reduction? So they're still employed, but they weren't making what they were before. This is going to hurt a lot of people because so many are living that paycheck to paycheck lifestyle, and suddenly they're going to be crushed. Further along in this article, they've got some good information. Companies across the US are cutting salaries as they fight to survive. The situation is upending a key assumption in modern economics and raising another hurdle to a rapid recovery. That so-called V-shaped recovery, which I'll mention in just a second, can happen if people are not having their jobs back, as well as those who have their jobs but didn't have the same salary. Otherwise, this is simply fictional. Here they cite the evidence just saying that this isn't just a one-off thing. We are seeing many different companies that have had to cut people's pay. Pay cuts for Americans who've managed to hold on to their jobs may hobble the return to normal. People will have to use a bigger chunk of their income for fixed obligations such as housing and other debts, leaving less for the kind of spending that can help spark the economy back into life. Quote, "It's one of the reasons we don't expect a so-called V-shaped recovery." That's from Barclays. Isn't that fantastic? Finally, some truth. Are you going to be able to buy that new TV? Are you going to buy that car? Will you buy a used car instead of a new one if yours breaks down? Are you going to go on that vacation? Many things are changing. Aggregate weekly pay fell 11% in April. That's the most on record. You can see it on the chart here. A lot of the charts are looking very repetitive. When you see something like this, 2020, it has fallen off a cliff in many respects. Tuesday morning is about to close 130 stores. So this just gives you the details. It breaks it down. Just wanted to show you yet another retailer is just closing up shop, at least for a large percentage of their stores, filing bankruptcy. Many of these companies trying to do so in these conditions is very difficult, as I mentioned before, because you can't liquidate what you have. This article here is talking about CBS laying off a whole bunch of people. It is just one of many in the media industry that has been doing this. It seems to affect every single sector. They're starting to thin out a lot of people. This is clearly having a major impact on so many different individuals, sectors, all at the same time, which is unlike anything we've ever seen before. Boeing is laying off more than 6,000 employees this week. So you know what they had said previously in the bottom here. The company aims to use voluntary and involuntary measures to reduce its headcount of roughly 160,000 people by 10%. So the aim is to cut about 16,000, 6,000 of which are happening this week. Amtrak says it needs additional bailout of nearly $1.5 billion to stay afloat. Who knows what all of this is going to really result in? We don't know if after all of this comes to a close, it's 2021. Will everyone have their jobs back? Will we be able to see the fruits of the labor of that, all the taxpayer dollars that went into this bailout money? I'm not so sure that it will be the case. Remember, every time you see a bailout, you're paying for it. This article here is talking about evictions, and I just wanted to make it clear what we're seeing. The hardest hit are tenants who had low incomes and little savings even before 2020 and whose housing costs ate up more of their paychecks. They were also likely to work in industries where job losses have been particularly severe. Temporary government assistance has helped, as have government orders that put evictions on hold in many cities, but evictions will soon be allowed in about half of the states. And here's the quote: "I think we'll enter into a severe renter crisis very quickly. Without a new round of government intervention, we will have an avalanche of evictions across the country." They give you a lot of detail in here, and I just wanted to bring it up. I think it's important to understand that it doesn't have to be like last time for it to be a problem. People are looking for the exact same patterns and saying there isn't a problem because this isn't happening, and they just don't get it. This right here is very serious. Even in well-to-do Glen Ellen, food pantries see a surge in demand. Of course, many people have been using these and they had never had to before in their lives. We are seeing something that is truly unlike what we had seen previously. The reaction in the stock market was insane. When you look at what's going on with the economy, how will they ever be able to turn this around? It's really beyond me. Fed finds new challenge for the economy. Workers who don't want to come back to their jobs. We've got a big issue right now. People got booted out, but they don't want to go back. They cited safety concerns, childcare issues, and the generous unemployment benefits the government has been providing. These are all very important things that we need to address depending on the individual. Of course, it's going to be different, but I know we're dealing with something big, and the scale, it just can't be resolved by printing up money and buying corporate debt, by printing up money and buying municipal debt. This is a takeover that's happening. It isn't helping the average individual. The money left unborrowed and unspent under the program, we're talking about the PPP, a flagship of Congress's $2.9 trillion effort to cushion the economic crush of the crisis of 2020, represents a lost opportunity. Businesses were supposed to use it to retain workers, but they may have been laying them off instead of tapping the money. And I think in some cases, the people didn't really have a problem with that because they're going to get paid more. We've got this topsy-turvy world that we're living in today. I thought it was interesting. I wanted to bring that to you. Northman Trader had this to say: "We're witnessing the largest asset bubble inside of a recession ever. Total market cap to GDP exceeding 140% in pre-market, right into a key historic bear market rally resistance pivot as unemployment is exceeding 20% with earnings growth minus 20% for the year at least. Dangerous." He makes a good point here. Basically what he's trying to say is that we've achieved levels that are completely unsustainable, that are unwarranted, and present us with more questions than answers. But if you look at the market, they really don't care. People should care about what's going on. This is an issue that I bring up all the time, whether I'm talking about the pension funds or Social Security and unfunded liabilities. Many people live on a fixed income from one source or another. This article here is an opinion piece in Market Watch, and I would like to do a whole video on this because I know that there are many people today that are or will need to rely on some sort of pension or Social Security or combination. And what happens if they cut? What happens if they cut? People are going to be destroyed. They're already pushed to the edge. Many have to use debt just to be able to get by as well. This is going to ruin so many people. When you see what's happening within the economy, pensions will be slashed, and there's no reason why they couldn't do the same thing for Social Security. Maybe it won't get slashed 30% like a pension, but what if it's 3%? What if it's 5%? Will people be able to survive on that? I think they're pushing it themselves right to the edge, and it's going to hurt. There is more detail if you want to read it for yourself. Link will be in the description under the sources, but hopefully I'll find the time to make a video about this. Stay tuned. If you found this video informative, hit that thumbs up button. When you do, you are supporting me. Thank you very much. If you want to check me out on Instagram and Twitter, you can do so at the Money GPS. Do you want to learn how to sell online? Are you interested in e-commerce? You just want to learn about it, or you want to go all the way? This course that I created for my subscribers, unlike all the others, is free. There is no charge. Check it out, theamazongps.com. If you want to understand the financial system, the foundation, the history, the asset classes, making money, top to bottom, A to Z, check my 2 books out at the link in the description. If you want the audiobook, themoneygps.com. Really important video if you haven't seen it already. Definitely check it out. Click on it. I will see you there.